What's up guys, Alex from FIFA Scouting Tips here, and welcome to Season 3 Episode 4 of Pompey Youth Stars. We have this game against Arsenal up next. Just before I get started, I just got a couple of questions for you guys. I've been thinking about what I'm doing on Pompey Youth Stars and on my YouTube channel in general really. And I've nearly finished with this series on the best free agents in FIFA 15. And I was wondering if you guys had any ideas on what you want me to do next. Any thoughts on what sort of stuff I should do next? Should I get stuck in and just do loads and loads of Pompey Youth Stars? Should I focus on something else maybe? A different series, like a different career mode series, different set of guides, maybe even something like Ultimate Team, something completely different? Maybe should I do a mix of lots of different things? I don't know. If you've got any ideas on what you want me to do on this channel next, please do let me know in the comments below. Really interested to hear your thoughts on that and see what direction I should take this channel over the summer. As well as that, I was thinking about how I do Pompey Youth Stars. I was wondering if you guys were interested in me maybe doing like a face cam and live commentating over my matches so you could actually see me playing the games, or whether you just want it to stay as it is where it's just like my edited commentaries over the games and no face cam. Whatever it is, let me know again in the comments below, and I'll try and get stuck into that as well. Now, if you've been watching this series recently, you'll probably notice that I'm in the Premier League and I'm doing quite well. I've won some unexpected games against the likes of Spurs, for example. I think I did well against Man United as well. Did really well in these games, which I should probably have lost. So I don't want to sort of overachieve in these games. I want to keep it as realistic as I can. I had a comment or two on some of my videos saying maybe I should tweak the sliders and try and make the sliders a bit more difficult. Sort of increase the CPU stats, that kind of thing, to make it a bit more challenging, because we are in the Premier League after all and we're playing against difficult teams. So I'm gonna have a look at some of these things here, maybe increase them a little bit, maybe like the shot speed, put that up to about 60. I had some suggestions from Kieran Whiting on the comments to do things like this, so thanks for him, shout out to him for that. The pass speed as well, I think I'll put that up a bit to 60 as well, and put the shot arrow down to about 40. So this should make the opposition a bit more deadly when it comes to the final third, a bit more crisp with their passing, a bit more difficult to defend against. So hopefully that will make it a bit more difficult, because I am playing on world class at the moment and I am getting completely dominated in terms of possession, but I am managing to score on the counter attack. I'm pretty good with finishing, and I've got a player like Bong, you know, it's easy to finish with him. So hopefully this will make the opposition a bit more potent and a bit more difficult to beat. So now that we've sorted that, we have this match against Arsenal. Let's see if those sliders make any difference. Like I said, we're still playing on world class, so hopefully it should be a little bit more difficult and a bit more of a realistic game maybe. So let's see how we do. Despite the difficulty changes, we made the best possible start. A lovely through ball to Bong, who outpaced the defenders, came through on goal and just slotted it past the goalkeeper. This guy is just unbeatable. It doesn't seem to matter what difficulty I play on, whether I adjust the sliders or not, he still seems to come through and get the goals when they matter. So I was now 1-0 up after just 5 minutes against a team like Arsenal, and we saw how I changed the sliders before. It should have made it a bit more difficult, but that just could not be stopped. He just went straight through and slotted it home, and he's now got 7 goals in his first season in the Premier League. But Arsenal could not be stopped for long. They came straight back 2 minutes later and headed straight against the crossbar. I almost went 1 goal down to level it up to 1-1, but then it went straight back to me. This game was swinging like a pendulum back and forth. A lovely through ball just cut out by Arsenal, and then it was their turn to attack again. Some nice work on the edge of the box, but unfortunately for them, their shot was straight at Doherty, who easily dealt with it. And then straight after that, it was my turn again. A nice through ball over the top to Ajay Boateng. If his first touch hadn't let him down, he would have been through on goal then. But this was a really even game at this point. Both teams having great attacking chances. Next it was Arsenal, but again they fired straight at Doherty. He's not going to get beaten like that. We know how good he is between the sticks. They did have the last chance of the half though. Slightly better shot, forcing Doherty down to his left, but once again he was a match for it. Came in at half time, 1-0 up, but didn't really deserve to be based on the amount of shots between each team. I created chances, but Arsenal had 4 shots, all of them on target and massively dominating me in possession. And then they came out in the second half with the first attack again. Luckily Doherty came out to clear the ball and absolutely flattened Giroud there, but luckily he was quick off the mark to stop that one. Then a nice through ball from Bong, putting Paul through on goal. Unfortunately for me, it was straight at the goalkeeper, so I couldn't beat him either. Arsenal kept the pressure up though, but Doherty just didn't seem like he could get beaten until this happened. They finally broke the deadlock after about 70 minutes. A wicked deflection off my defender was the only thing that got it past my goalkeeper. You can see here, huge deflection and just not enough time for Doherty to react to it. So unfortunately it's 1-1, but literally 2 minutes later, that man struck again. Bong threw on goal, his shot blocked by the keeper, but he slotted in the rebound and it was 2-1. So it just seems, like I said earlier, it just seems like he cannot be stopped. He comes up and saves me at the most important moments, and so we were 2-1 up. This was really good, just 10 minutes to go. Then Green, my monster, had a shot that somehow troubled the goalkeeper and we won a corner, and from that corner Butler unmarked volleyed it home into the goal. So it was 3-1. This was an unbelievable result. It kind of felt a bit ridiculous, really. I didn't feel like I should be winning by this much, but I was just taking my chances, and it felt here, if the Arsenal defender hadn't just fallen over, that would never have been a goal. So I felt very, very lucky. But that was all there was time for. Straight from the centre, it was the final whistle. So we came in and we won 3-1 away from home. We had plenty of shots ourselves, 5 shots on target, but we were dominated again in possession, only 41% for us. Arsenal had 8 shots on target. They really should have done better, but luckily we have Doherty in goal, who is just so difficult to beat. He is such a good goalkeeper and he's only going to get better. So the combination of Doherty and Bong is just winning me these games. Doesn't seem to matter what difficulty I'm playing on or who I come up against. Bong with the 8.4 rating, Ajay Burton got 7.9 as well. So I think I might have to change the difficulty up or do something else, because even in this game I really should have been beaten when you look at it on paper, but I came out with a 3-1 win, so I might have to change it going forward, but still I'm not going to complain. That was a great result against Arsenal. Okay, well that game was kind of ridiculous. I did adjust the sliders as you saw, but I kind of felt like their shots were a bit more powerful, their passing was a bit more crisp as you'd expect, but they were still not posing much of a threat when they were shooting. Their shots were harder, but they were straight at my goalkeeper, so it didn't really feel like much of a threat going forward. And you know, I didn't have any possession pretty much, I was just completely outplayed that way, but I'm pretty good at scoring goals on the break, and so that's what I was doing, and I got the win. So it kind of felt like it wasn't really enough just to change the sliders, so I think in my next game that I play, I'm going to just try and shift it up to legendary, just see how it goes. I am probably going to get completely destroyed, but you know, it might be a bit of a more of a challenge, sorry. So a bit more realistic. We'll see how that goes. Right, up next we have this match against Northampton in the Capital One Cup. It should hopefully be fairly straightforward, so I'm just going to put a B team out, rotate the squad a bit to get some more players some experience, and yep, we win 2-1, Garassi and Bennett with the goals. Okay, and straight after that game we have this scouting update from Schumacher, and he is in England, and we have Andre Cook, 56 to 76 potential, turning him down definitely. Craig Lucas, oh, 68 to 92, he looks pretty good. I think I will probably sign him up straight away. He looks very, very decent indeed, so we'll sign him up. Then we have George Creswell, 62 to 84 after 1 month. Almost certainly not going to sign him, but I'll keep him in the report for 1 more month. Can't be any harm in doing that, just to check. Then we have Jack German, 63 to 85, again 1 more month, just to see how he does. And then we have John Mahoney, 67 to 85, looking fairly okay, I guess, but I'm not entirely certain. So yeah, once again, I'm going to let him go for 1 more month, just to see how he does. Then Jonathan Tutt, 63 to 81, so he is now not good enough. We've been scouting him for 2 months, and it's narrowed down a bit, so we will reject him. Then Ollie Potter, 64 to 86, another one who we're going to leave for a month, because that's sort of the middle value of that is in the mid 70s, so I want to see if he gets any better when it narrows down a bit more. So we'll let him go for a bit longer. Then we have Sulay Bun, however you say his name, 63 to 81, not good enough though, so he gets turned down. And then finally Tyrrell Platt, 70 to 88, looking pretty good, I have to say. It looks like he might be a right back as well, with a winger type, because his sprint speed and acceleration are his best stats. So that'd be really, really useful to have a fast fullback. Once more, I think I'm just going to let him go for 1 more month, just to be absolutely certain on him, and hopefully he will turn out to be really good. So that's that scouting update from England. Okay, we've got a couple of scouting reports to go through now. So we have our first one in Scotland, and we have Fraser Murdoch, 51 to 71, definitely turning him down. And then Fraser Ryan, 61 to 85, probably sort of early to mid 70s potential, probably not going to be good enough, so I'll also turn him down. That was our last report in Scotland, so I'll go to that in a second, reassign that scout somewhere. But before that, we have this report from Demidov in Germany, and he has got Axel Giefer, 63 to 81 potential. That's not really high enough, so I'll turn him down. Daniel Weiss, 66 to 90 after just 1 month, looks really, really good, but I will look at him for 1 more month just to be on the safe side. because their potentials can go down sometimes, so I'll look at him for 1 more month. Then finally, Marcel Evsiev, 58 to 78, definitely turning him down. So just this 1 more player, just to look at for 1 more month. And that means that we now have a spare scout to go send him off somewhere. So we have Martin Lee. Let's see, where shall we send him? We've got someone in Germany and someone in England at the moment. Where have I not scouted? Let's go somewhere I haven't scouted before. Why don't we just try somewhere in Africa? I haven't looked on there before. Where shall I go? I don't know. Let's just go Nigeria, I guess. Not really, not too fast where we go there. So let's go there for 6 months, look for any type, and see what we come back with. Right, so next up we have this match against Newcastle, and like I said, I am going to try this on Legendary now, because World Class just, the sliders didn't really seem to be strong enough, you know, it wasn't enough of a challenge. Like, I didn't have any possession, but I was still scoring goals, and still winning matches, which I probably shouldn't have been. So we're going to try it on Legendary. It's probably going to be extremely frustrating, I'm going to get destroyed, but let's see how it goes anyway. I'm sorry to say that this was a pretty dull game. The first shot didn't come until really late in the half, and it was straight at Doherty. That took about half an hour for the first shot of the game. For myself, my first chance came late on in the half, but it was straight at the goalkeeper. Wasn't very good either. So it was, that was about all that happened in that half, I'm afraid to say. Basically what happened was they camped in my half, tried to attack, couldn't get through my defence, and I just tackled them, and then they got the ball back, and that's basically all that happened in that half. I had 2 shots on target, so did they, and they had 60% possession, so I was dominated in that respect as usual, but they just could not get through my defence, and it was very difficult for me to keep possession, but it was very difficult for them to find the goal or to try and have a good attack. Wasn't working for either team really, and the same was pretty much true in the second half. A good ball through, but a superb stop from Doherty to keep it out. That really was the save of the match, really kept me in it. Then a fantastic through ball from Ajay Boateng to spot Bong, but he couldn't quite get on the end of it. That would have been a fantastic goal if I'd managed to score that one. Newcastle had an opportunity to really score late in the game. They just couldn't put it away though, couldn't even hit the target there. And as for myself, this was pretty much as good as it got in the second half. That was a cross, and it got tipped over the bar. That was about it, and then the game ended. So I'm afraid to say that was a very, very boring game, and I'm sorry I didn't have more clips to show you guys. I really was struggling to try and find some decent clips in that game when there really was nothing. So I'm sorry you had to sit through that. It wasn't very exciting, was it? But still, it shows what Legendary is like sometimes. I was just camped in my half the whole game pretty much. Couldn't really get out. My attacks were very, very rare. But Newcastle just couldn't break me down. I was well organised in defence, and they just couldn't get any decent attacks on goal. And in the end, neither team really came out on top. It was a very evenly matched game essentially. 2 teams cancelled each other out. Doherty really good with 7.5 rating. Once again, he kept me in that game. That superb save to keep out their striker who was through on goal really did keep me in the game. No one else performed particularly well. Lodigan was okay, I suppose, but other than that, it was a 0-0 draw, and we're going to persevere with Legendary and see what else we can do with it. Okay, so we've hit the first of the month, and that means it's time to look at how our players are doing in our squad. So we have Doherty up to 78 now. He is finally growing. Like last season, didn't grow at all, or barely grew at all. Now he's grown 2 points already, which is fantastic to see. David Brown up to 70 at just 17 years old. He's also growing, so we've got a really good reserve goalkeeper now as well. Tim Zimmerman, that new player we got in at right back, hasn't grown yet in terms of his overall, but his stats are growing nicely, so it won't be long until he starts growing in overall points. Then we have Liam Osborne on 64, then Danny Corrie on 66, feeling like he's a really solid player in defence. That really good strength and jumping is very useful at the back. Then we have Bovaga, who's developing into another key player in defence, now up to 68 plus 2. Then we have Brad Knight on 64. Then Angelo De Silva on loan, of course, he's up to 67 plus 1. Then Hiroki Tasaka still stuck on 63, so I'm going to be probably loaning him out in January, or maybe even getting rid of him, we'll have to see. Then Philip Jayamera, who I have on loan, he's up to 72 plus 1. Then we have Francesco Verri. It says he's 69 minus 1, but obviously all his stats are growing. Like I said last time in the last episode, it's because it's just a display error with the game basically. It thinks he was 70, but actually he's rated 69, so it's just correcting his overall to what it should be basically. So there's no worries there, he is growing in terms of stats. Then we have Keaton Nichols up 2 points to 62, which is really good to see. And then Ryan Green, my 6'7" monster in midfield, 85 stand tackle, that is incredible. 77 sliding tackle as well. He will be fantastic if I put him at centre back, but he's 63 plus 2 at centre midfield. Then we have Ajay Boateng on 71 plus 1, and then Michael Pender on 73 plus 2. Then Dylan Quinton 71 plus 1. Frederick Mathis is on 62, not growing, so might have to loan him out, I think. Then Shuttleworth Vitanen, again not growing either, he's stuck on 60. Then we have Kelvin Bong on 74 plus 2. As we know, this guy is incredible. Just look at that, 8 goals in 6 appearances in the Premier League, which is absolutely ridiculous. I shouldn't be scoring this many goals with him, but he just plays so well. As you'll know if you watch my series, he is just incredible up front. I think someone pointed out in the comments that he might be a regen of Samuel Eto'o. Wouldn't surprise me at all. He is a very, very good player. So Bong is just my key player at the moment, really. Then we have Jenison Bennett, a really good backup striker. He's now on 70 plus 2. And then Yuri Lodigan on 68 plus 2. His sprint speed and acceleration growing still. That seems to just keep happening with this guy. He just gets faster and faster. It's really good to see. Then we have Michael Coyne, 65 plus 1. He's our new striker, just promoted. Then Dimitri Guirassy has grown a point. He's now on 68 plus 2. Then we have 1 or 2 real players before we get to Paulet on 77. He's unhappy because for some reason he doesn't think he's playing very many games, which is kind of ridiculous because it's only in October. Well, just the very start of October, in fact. But because he's such a key player, we're going to be playing him loads, so that'll go. No need to worry about that. Then we have another couple of real players before we get to the loaned out players. So we have Mitsuharu Paula Daniel on 66 plus 2, Paddy Malloy on 62 plus 2, so he's now gone up, which is great because he wasn't growing very much before. Then we have Curtis Simpson on 56 plus 3. Remember, he's the guy promoted before May to see how his physical stats would grow. As we can see, they're growing nicely. It's going to be a few years till he becomes an actually usable player. So it's going to be kind of like a long-term experiment, I guess. But it'll be interesting to see how he turns out. Then we have Andrew Robson on 65 plus 1. And Joe Hayes on 58, hasn't grown yet. And then finally, James Smith on 61 hasn't grown either. So that's how our team are doing this month in terms of growth. Okay, up next we have this game against Aston Villa, but I have run out of time, I'm afraid, so I have to save that for next time. It will be on Legendary again, but if you guys have any more tips on how to increase the difficulty, maybe increase the sliders a bit more, change them up a bit, because I can't go any higher than Legendary, really. We'll keep going with that for a bit, see how we do, because it may just mean that Newcastle game was a one-off, so we'll have to see how we do, I guess. But it is feeling a little bit too easy almost. It's a bit ridiculous. I can't control possession. I'm always massively dominated in terms of possession, but I just seem to score lots of goals on the break, and we have a really good goalkeeper, so we don't concede many either. So I'm getting lots of good results that I probably shouldn't be getting, really. So if you have any advice on how to increase the difficulty, make it a bit more challenging, please leave that in the comments below. I'll read up on that and try and put that into action. I want to know, like I said at the start of the video, what you guys want me to do next on the channel, because I'm nearly finished with the free agent series that I'm doing. So do you want me to do like loads and loads of Pompey Youth Stars? Do you want me to do another series, another career mode series, maybe a different thing in FIFA entirely, maybe even some Ultimate Team, whatever. Just let me know what you want me to do next, and I'll think about that. As well as what I said earlier as well about the face cam. Do you want me to start showing my face in games and showing me actually playing the games, or do you want me to keep doing the edited commentaries over the top? Up to you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget the scouting goal contest is going on. There's not a lot left. Not a lot of time left on the scouting goal contest. This month it's on the best 16 and 17-year-old players. They can be in any position you want. So as long as you find a good player, take a picture of them when they're in the academy or just after they've been promoted. No stat growth if possible, just to keep it fair for everybody else. Then you can send that to @FIFA Scouting on Twitter using the hashtag ScoutingGod, or you can send it over to facebook.com/FIFA Scouting Tips, or you can leave a link to the image in the comments below, or you can send it over to FIFAScoutingTips.com. Whatever you want to do, there's about a week left on that, so make sure you get cracking if you haven't entered already. And also one more thing, guys, I am running a newsletter on my website, so if you haven't signed up, please do. I send out all roundups of the articles and videos I've done every week. I pick out the best young players that have been added to the squads that week, all that kind of stuff. So if you've got any ideas on what you want me to do with that as well, if you think that it needs to be changed, if you really like it and you want to keep going as it is, let me know all that. I'm trying to get as much feedback on everything that I do really at the moment. So keep all that coming. So any other comments, leave them in the comments below. I will read them all. I try and respond to as many as I can. Leave a like as well if you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. Good opportunity, but again, another massive Bong hit after the last game. Bong getting a huge elbow in the face there. I don't know what it is about him, but he seems to be a marked man.